what we have to do? We have to cultivate confidence in ourselves, faith in ourselves. Then we have to have faith in others. If I speak, will they listen? That confidence you have to have. Now, if you speak and nobody is listening to you, your confidence will become less, don't you think? Tell your friends that you're good so that their confidence increases. Human interaction, interpersonal skills increase our confidence. On a day your lecturers tell you you're good, you've done well, many times I told you you've performed well, don't you feel more confident? But what are we doing to each other? We are saying, oh, this one is useless, that one is useless, let us kill this one, let us harm this one, let us burn this one. What are we doing? We are showing our mind, which doesn't have confidence in ourselves, destroying our confidence in others. We cannot live unless we have confidence in others. And finally, there are things which is beyond our control. We say, okay, let us leave it. That is called faith in God, where we have no control, where we don't know how to control it. You know, if you want to sleep late in the morning, can you say, sun, please do not rise? The sun will rise, you know, it's a mathematical calculation. They can tell you hundreds of years later when the sun will rise on 17th of December. Do you understand? So these are not in our control. If I say that I have control over these things, I'm being foolish. What I have control on, if I'm able to control those, I become self-confident. So your aim is to build up the language, first step, to practice the language, second step. Practice does not mean speaking and writing, please understand. Practice means listening also, reading also, because these are all important aspects of practice. We cannot say that we are practicing only speaking and writing. Finally, when you are using the language for others, when you have become confident, when you have overcome your fear, then you will find that you need to only use speaking and writing. But as long as you are trying to build up your confidence, you are trying to overcome your fear, you have to first concentrate on your English, how you can improve whatever level you are. If you are at 50% level, how to improve the remaining 50%. If you are at 80% level, how to improve 20%. If you are at 0% level, don't get frightened. You know, it is an exciting journey of 100% improvement. Nothing to feel depressed about. Nobody comes to the world knowing a language. We all learn a language. Please understand, you were not born with your capabilities of speaking. You acquired it. So we can all acquire it, but unless we practice regularly, we can never overcome our fear. If you listen by sitting on the chair, you will find that you are very happy to listen. When you have to go away from the college, you say, oh, listening is finished. Now I don't want to leave college because how will I get a job? I'm used to sitting and listening only. That doesn't help. You can't stay your whole life in the college and listen to your lecturers speaking. You have to go one day. If you come into the teaching profession, you have to lecture. How will you feel? You will feel lack of confidence. It is not only you, everybody feels. I told you my own example yesterday. Do you remember? The first day I went to teach, 60 people in front of me. I was fresh from MA. I was shivering. There was a time 10 years later when I had to prepare for 5 hours to give a 1-hour lecture to the MA student. Imagine how much of confidence it is required. Because if I did not prepare, I would have no confidence. Do you understand? We all have fears. Fear is a very powerful human emotion. But human beings know how to conquer fear. We are conquering fear for silly things like, you know, jumping from buildings and doing adventure sports and all. Okay, those are fearless people. Many people jump and they die. They say, oh, I'll do like that and I'll video record it. That is perversity. It is not mental control. So do something which is worthwhile. Overcome your fear for something which is worthwhile. And that is worthwhile, which helps you to make a successful life. Today's success mantra is English also, not English only. Now see these two words, also and only, both are adverbs. but they are exactly opposite in meaning. If you only learn good English, your English is very sophisticated, you don't know your subject, nobody will give you a job. You know your subject very well, you don't know English, nobody will give you the job. So you have to be a balanced person, a person who knows your subject, your knowledge, and a person who knows English also. So if you have fear anywhere, whether it is language or whether it is something else, the only way to overcome is build a foundation of knowledge, then make the building of your self-confidence by practice. Go on practicing. Somebody whose English is very good needs only little practice, 1 month, 2 months. Somebody whose English is very bad needs practice 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years. Not easy to learn. You cannot learn by telegraphic method. Always remember that there are 2 versions of English. You know, one version is the formal version, the other is informal. For all social media, for all your friendly conversations, use messages, exchanges, use your informal English, no problem. But make a distinction that here I cannot use that. It is because we are forgetting the distinction, we are learning only one version and we are scared that, oh my God, am I making a mistake? Fearing that you make a mistake is a first step to correction. You know, it's like getting fever and saying, I don't want to go to the doctor. I don't want to take medicine. That's not correct. If you have fever, take medicine. Like that, if you have fear, overcome your fear. Overcome doesn't say, oh, overcome fear, that doesn't happen. You do that which will overcome. Go on listening more if you have problems of listening. So go on speaking more if you have problems of speaking. Go on reading more if you need your reading requires betterment. Go on writing more if you feel it is writing which is required. These skills come to us and they leave us also. We have to be very, apart from accuracy, you have to have another point, and that is clarity. What we are saying, is it clear? Yesterday I told you the audience is most important. When you speak, your listener is important. When you write, your reader is important. When somebody has written, you read it and you say, oh, so confusing. Somebody said, we read a legal document, we couldn't understand anything. Now, when you can read that legal document and put it in simple English, that means you have learned the language. That means you have clarity. Read the toughest things, listen to the toughest things, and then put it in simple English. That means you have range of English. Very tough, very simple. Same topic you're speaking to children, to grown-ups, you will make a change in language. That shows your clarity. Then we have to be concise. Whatever you're saying, try to make it to the point. Very often we are repetitive, not very good. We pick up the phone. 10 times we say, how are you? How are you? How are you? And we say, untanu, untanu, untanu. 10 times untanu, but still you're talking. 4 sentences, untanu. Then again 5 sentences, untanu. You're saying bye, but you are saying again you're talking. You say complete everything. While writing also we do this. We cover the structure. We say, oh, point number 1 I forgot. Again after point 10 we write point 1. It became mixture, khichdi. Terrible. So clarity of thought, clarity of expression, correctness of grammar, accurate use of words, especially in writing. Speaking is informal usually, unless you're giving a formal lecture. But our daily conversation is informal. We can use words loosely, but formally when you're speaking to a group, when you use language loosely, then you have lot of controversial things. You open the news channels, you find this one said this is not correct. That one said this is not correct. That means they did not pay attention to the language. They could have said the same thing in an acceptable form. That is clarity, conciseness. These are all very important points. So when you keep these points in mind, what you get is effective English. Then we have one last point which I want to tell you. We have just about a couple of minutes. This is called communication etiquette. For effective communication, a very important point is communication etiquette. That is good manners. That is courtesy. How we speak. To whom are we speaking and how are we speaking? Very often we find that we speak in a very rude way to people we think who are inferior to us. We are casually rude to them. Hey, you come here. Then who, senior, respected person, we say, please come. The meaning of the sentence is the same. Hey, come here and please come. Just by changing your tone, by changing the manner in which you're saying, the meaning remains the same, but the attitude changes. We have no business to be rude to anybody, to be polite to anybody, depending on their social, cultural, educational background. When we speak to somebody, that somebody becomes a person of respect to us. Whether you're speaking to a beggar also. Again I can give you an example of Swami Vivekananda. He says that if somebody takes your help, including the beggar, if you give the beggar some money or some help or some clothes, some warm clothes in winter, you should feel grateful, not the beggar. We give and we expect thank you. Swamiji says, no, don't expect. Be happy that somebody is taking your help. That shows you courtesy, that you are courteous. Not everybody will accept your help. You go to help somebody, they say, no, I don't want. So the giver is equally to be grateful. This is a wonderful lesson for us to learn in humanism, in etiquette, that when we give something, instead of expecting a thanks, we give and we feel that we owe them a thanks for taking. The person who receives will certainly give thanks. That is culture. Everybody, as soon as you receive, you say thanks normally, naturally. We find that, I came in a cab. If I say thank you to the driver looks a little embarrassed because we never had communication etiquette. We forgot that. You say, driver's job is to drive me. He's driving a cab. So why should I thank? Because he drove me to your college, I could come. I don't know how to drive myself. I don't know how to come. So that person owes, he has given a service to me. Although he might charge money, he might do everything, but my thanks are due to that person. Like that we need to think. So when we are speaking, let us avoid being rude. When we are speaking, let us avoid being cruel. Many of us are very cruel when we speak. We say something, we can't take it back again. A word which is given is like an arrow, it cannot be taken back. It's like a bullet in today's word. In our olden tradition, in all our languages, that arrow simile is there in India. But now nobody knows what an arrow is, so we can say it's like a bullet. Finished. You can't take it back. You say, oh, please become alive. I'm sorry I shot you. Like that, you are killing a part of a person by being rude. So rudeness or talking out of turn. Somebody wants to talk and you're not allowing that person to talk, you go on talking. You interrupt people when they are talking, especially in your job interviews. Please remember, by listening to the first sentence of the interviewer, you know the answer already. You start answering, you have lost your marks. Communication etiquette, that is called. Listen completely, listen carefully. When that person has stopped speaking, you can make out, then you start your answer. What you do in your interview room, please do in your real life also, with your family members, with your friends, your neighbors, strangers, everybody. Give them a chance to speak, you speak. Oh, the other person speaks very well, I will keep silent. That's also not correct. That kind of silence is not communication. That is passivity, indifference. That also is not communication etiquette. So we need to learn this again by practice, like the question which was asked. We have a fear that we are violating all rules, therefore let us not speak. He corrects us, then we say, oh, madam has already corrected me yesterday, today I will not speak. That is a wrong attitude. You say, madam corrected only one thing about me. Today I will speak and I will try to make as many mistakes as possible, because these mistakes are a generic thing. It's general. Thousands of others might be making these mistakes. Once you do these things, once you are practice is correct, you are keeping all these things in mind: fluency, accuracy, clarity, conciseness, courtesy, etiquette, all these you keep in mind while practicing, while building up your foundation of language, you will find that what comes out of you, speaking and writing only, are effective. That means others are listening to you. But please do not expect miracles. Improvement comes slowly, but improvement comes to everybody. Because you gave me a chance to speak to you for 2 days, I have improved. My English on 15th of December and my English on 18th of December will be different because I got a chance to interact with you. Can I say that I am teaching, you are learning, so I don't learn anything? I can learn many things by listening to you. I can learn many more things today when you tell me your perception of the stories. That is the second exercise which we are going to do.